Do saints still exist, or are they all dead and gone, confined to the past, the relics of bygone ages? I'm Stevie Saranga, and I was a Hindu monk for 10 years, living in an ashram on top of the hill in Scotland. And I'd like to present the life story of this person here. Born 1950 as John Favours, baptised into the Hare Krishna religion as Garnasham Prabhu, and later renamed again when he became a leader in the Hare Krishna religion with the name Bhakti Tirtha Swami, which is how he's kind of known now, Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So the question as to whether saints still walk the earth is itself a good question, and I want to tell the story of when I was I was 22 or 23, I think, yeah, and I was working in Holland, and I just thought, yeah, everyone's the same as me, everyone's just out for whatever they can get, on the prowl, what can I get for myself, this kind of mentality. And I assumed, yeah, everyone else is the same. Everyone else is the same as me, just one day, I was just in this little village. There was a canal. There was nice houses, but I seen this fella, and he were a funny looking fella. He had like a kind of white suit on, like there's that film. Is it something? It's Venice, set in Venice. Dirk Bogart. He's got this like white suit. He looked a bit like him. But I just looked at this fella. I thought that fella, he is not like me. He is not like me at all. And that made me realise. I thought, yeah, not everyone is like me, and I'm a fool for thinking that everybody else is a fool as well, and only a fool thinks that everybody else is a fool. So Atmavan Manyate Jagat, that's some old phrase that means that only a fool thinks that everybody else is a fool as well. So yeah, we have to based just on the logical possibility that it is certainly logically possible that there are people who are operating in this world with different motivations than ourselves. Motivations not self-centered but selflessly. We can't discount that possibility. So yeah, I've broken down the life of Bhakti Tirtha Swami into 11 stages. So 1, childhood, birth, etc., birth and childhood. 2, youth, his time at school. 3, he goes to university. 4, he joins ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and joins the Library Party, distributing sets of books to libraries. 5, he becomes a victim of racism within ISKCON and how the leader responds to that. 6, a description of his practice as a monk in ISKCON. 7, he's officially becoming initiated as a leader within ISKCON. Number 8, some of his successes with the establishment of IFAST, the Institute for Applied Spiritual Technology in America. Number 9, his work in Africa number 10, the story of his pilgrimage to a big temple in India, the Jagannath Mandir. And 11, the situation surrounding his passing away in 2005. So let's go back to number 1, his childhood. He was born in 1950 in the ghetto in Cleveland. It's a single parent family, just his mum. He's got like 2 or 3 brothers and sisters, and his mum, they're a Christian family. His mum is so kind, like, and hospitable, that when friends come round, she even gives away their clothes to the guests, so that he has to, if they see like a guest coming and get invited in, they have to, the little boys and girls and brothers and sisters, they have to start hiding their clothes so that they still got things to wear after the guests have gone. But yeah, this is a great example, isn't it? Such a wonderful example of hospitality. Yeah. In my own life, I've learned. I didn't grow up with understanding hospitality, but I've been taught it by others, by being received very well in other people's homes. And my wife has actually taught me a lot about how to receive guests. But yeah, this is amazing. His mother and that Christian, fantastic Christian basis of his life. So there was a few. One amazing thing about his childhood is that he had a stutter. He had a stutter. So he had little confidence, and whenever he would try to speak, he would stutter. But when he was in it, because when they went to church, he was in an evangelical Christian group. So sometimes they would ask the children to do some preaching from the pulpit or stand up and give a talk. Now he would stutter normally, but when he was asked to talk about Jesus, then he didn't stutter. He had confidence. So this is another amazing thing about him. And then some amazing things that happened when there was 2 pretty far out things that happened when he was a kid that don't happen to most kids. I mean, yeah. So there was 2 things that happened. Are you ready for these 2 things? So he witnessed a miracle. He was in a prayer group. There was a lady, a black lady in the neighbourhood. She had a prayer group, and there was a group of kids aged between 8 and 13. And she would ask them to all come in. I don't know how often the meeting was, but they would all pray. It was a regular thing. They would all pray for something to happen. And there was a boy with a withered arm. He couldn't use his arm. And they all prayed for the boy's arm to get better. And the report says it was a miracle. It healed itself. Now I'm going to go back to question the legitimacy of this claim after I've told you the next one as well, which is another challenging episode in his childhood, which is this book and all accounts of something else extremely unusual that happened to him during his childhood was that one of his friends around the corner got possessed by an alien. The circumstances are that the young boy, similar age to him, 8 or 9 years old, all of a sudden, becomes ill, stays in his room, says he doesn't want to go out, starts speaking in a very, very deep voice, like somebody else's voice, and he's like that for a week or so, and when asked, the voice, the boy says, like, I am an alien or something like this, and maybe the adults don't take it so seriously, but all the other kids in the neighbourhood, his friends, all come in and they love it, and they're speaking as though they're speaking to this alien and like making friends with this alien. So of these two, you could say, dubious claims about his childhood, then I would remark that, like most people, my original reaction is one of skepticism. But on the other hand, I'm not totally discounting the possibility of miracles, nor I mean come on, let's the universe is a huge place. We can't say for sure that aliens don't exist. Whether aliens are going to come and possess boys in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, is stretching it further. But what I would say is about both things is that with regards to the miracle, the boy with the withered arm getting cured, is that a group, it's a group of children, 8 to 13 years old, very sincerely praying, with the best of intentions to try and help and heal somebody. Now, I believe in God, and it's contingent on the acceptance of the belief in God. Well, by definition, God is omnipotent, all-powerful, which logically supersedes the laws of physics and whatever other constraints or definitions we put on what is our reality and our everyday experience of the world. So acceptance of God presupposes that the possibility is there for the laws of physics to be broken. So whilst I have never experienced personally such a miracle taking place, at the same time I remain open-minded and don't discount that it may have happened to other people, and they may well have experienced that, and I don't discount their experience, and as well anyone who comes to me and claims, I know everything about all the possibilities that are there within the world, within the universe, and within everybody else's experience. Such a person, I say, well, I don't accept your authority as being all-knowing in that sense, And let's put a name on it. Unfortunately, that is the claim that a lot of scientists, people who use this label science, it carries a hell of a lot of kind of weight to the word science. It's kind of, although it is, it's like a huge like a dam of the weight of all that pressure of fact and knowledge behind it. But not everything is. Anyway, I've said what I want to say about that. The alien possession. Similarly, I've never experienced being possessed by an alien. I've never met someone who themselves has been possessed by an alien and had a conversation in that way with an alien. But I don't discount. I remain open-minded. I don't discount that could be a possibility. Okay, number two. Number two is youth. He was a snazzy dresser. And he used to go into charity shops looking for, because he couldn't afford to buy, the nicest clothes from the most expensive shops. This reminds me of me. I used to go in charity shops as well, but I didn't. I used to buy scruffy clothes actually. But yeah, and he would look both ways when he came out of the door because he didn't want people to see him going in there, people from his school. But he retained his propensity for dressing nicely all through his life, even when he was a monk and when he became a leader and when he became a high king in Nigeria, and some of the other things, amazing things that he got up to. So yeah, he was enrolled in a local school in the ghetto area of Cleveland. But he was an outstanding student, top of the class, intelligent, very, very intelligent young man. Johnny boy they called him. And he was involved with his church a lot in speaking engagements because he was a good, intelligent young boy, and through that organisation, the Southern Church Youth Church Leadership Conference. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but as a youth leader in that organisation, he got and also because he was also working in civil rights. I mean, he was a boy, he wasn't working, but he was, getting involved in the civil rights movement. He got the opportunity to meet Martin Luther King. We all know the most respected, one of the most respected people in the world, Martin Luther King. And so at a meeting there with Martin Luther King, he was present, a lot of other people present to meet, to be the guest of Martin Luther King. Everyone was a lot of awe, a lot of respect, and people got to shake his hand, and most people didn't say anything. They were too kind of dumbstruck. But Johnny Boy, when he met him, he shook his hand, and he retained his composure, and he asked him a question, and he said, like, why do you call people Negroes instead of blacks? A good question. And Martin Luther King was like, well, I wasn't expecting a question. And so he was impressed. Martin Luther King was impressed because not many people would even ask a question or ask a challenging question. So Martin Luther King was impressed with this boy as well, probably because he saw him give his talk as well at the meeting, at the conference. And as a result of that, then through the Martin Luther King Foundation, John managed to get a scholarship to a better school. So that's amazing. And he went to the most poshest, best school in Cleveland, right on the other side of town, and it was all white people. I think there was two or three black pupils at that school, and so he went over there. So also in his youth, he met another very interesting man. Norman Anderson was a black man who lived in his neighborhood, and he was a very deep spiritual person. And it's described that he would teach people, he would invite people around to his flat, and he said it was described as very sparsely furnished. It was, but as well as it being very sparsely furnished, and having the appearance of the person who would live in a house like that would be a poor person. At the same time, it's described that this Norman Anderson, his demeanour and his the way he would carry himself as he walked down the street was head held high and like almost like he would come across as an aristocrat. But so there's a kind of I like that that counterplay that he was living austerely at home. perhaps just sleeping on a mattress on the floor, keeping few possessions, living very simply. But he would invite young youth from the neighbourhood, teenagers, and he would teach them about a combination, a whole plethora, a whole combination of spirituality. And he would pull from different traditions. He would pull from Islam, from Sufi Islam, from Egyptian religion, and from Hinduism. And he would show a picture of Krishna, and he would say, "This is God. He's a little blue dude. This is God," just like that. And people could either accept or deny, So this Norman Anderson was an interesting influence and a mentor to him, informing his spiritual growth. So number 3, he goes on to university. So he goes on, he graduates from the posh school in Cleveland with flying colours. He gets accepted at Princeton University, which apparently it's somewhere in the north. Is it in New York? I don't know. It's in the north of the USA, but apparently it's mainly attended by the rich sons of landowners from the south. So it's like people who are plantation owners, and there is, let's not beat around the bush. So there's a racism. He goes to the Princeton University where he's knowing he's going to perhaps face racism again with and it's also at this time of the 60s and 70s when apparently he was one of the first people to get this scholarship to go. He was one of the first black people to go to this university. He said that the government at that time was beginning to realise that we can't just carry on refusing opportunity to the black people. We can't carry on like this. We have to give we're beginning to realise, we're going to have to start giving them some of the same opportunities that everybody else has in this society. So they were started to give grants and scholarships for black people to some of the top Ivy League universities, and he was one of the first people to get this, and he went to Princeton. And again, he excelled. He excelled at Princeton. And I went to university myself. I didn't at all excel at university. Absolute opposite. But I was aware that there was like student representative bodies, like a student union, and he got involved in all of that, and he became the leader. He became the leader of the student union, and he studied psychology. He specialised in hypnotism, and he, together with his girlfriend at the time, him and his girlfriend, they would get during that university period. He was getting very much into yoga, such as the Patanjali's eightfold yoga system, which includes yama, niyama, ashtanga, asana, do's, don'ts, postures, and fasting. He was started to perform fasting, and whilst he was at university, him and his girlfriend, they went to meet Sri Chinmoy. Now, I know a little bit about Sri Chinmoy, that he was a spiritual teacher. He played the flute. I have a friend who stayed at the ashram where I stayed, and he would be playing the CDs, and it was very beautiful flute music of Sri Chinmoy. And I've since learned that he was an advocate of long distance running, which is I used to be young. I used to be really into long distance running, But I mean, I never knew there was someone who combined long distance running with spirituality. I mean, for me, that's wow, it's quite amazing. And there's actually a plaque to Sri Chinmoy in a big park in Edinburgh, the Meadows. There's a plaque there saying something to do with running around that park, something to do with Sri Chinmoy. So John and his girlfriend, they went to meet Sri Chinmoy and listen to his teachings, I think in New York, and he took initiation and became a disciple of Sri Chinmoy. So having become an initiate of Sri Chinmoy, whose fellow other disciples refer to as the Jagat Guru, which means the guru of the whole world, or even the guru of the whole universe. He went back on a break back to Cleveland. He went to see his friend Norman Anderson, and he said, I've taken initiation from the Jagat Guru, the guru of the universe, the guru of the whole world. And Norman said, "Oh, and who is the Jagat Guru?" He said, "It's Sri Chinmoy. Sri Chinmoy. His followers all have told me he's the guru of the universe." But Norman was doubtful. He said, "No, he's not. He's not the guru of the universe." So John was like, "What? He's not? What is this? I've been cheated. I can't believe this." He said, "No, he's not. He's not the Jagat Guru. No, he's not. Somebody else. Somebody else is the Jagat Guru." Well, John's like, "Well, who is the Jagat Guru then?" And Norman Anderson said, "Well, actually, the Jagat Guru is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami." John's like, "A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who's that?" Norman says, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he's the guru and the leader of the Hare Krishna movement. And John's like, "The Hare Krishna movement? You got to be joking! I've seen those guys on the street corner every morning when I'm on my way to college. They're there on the corner, with like bed sheets, like just playing the tambourines. They're there in the morning when I'm going to college at 9, and they're still there when I'm on my way home at like 6, just playing the tambourines, wearing bed sheets. You got to be joking! You can't be serious. The leader of the Hare Krishna movement is the Jagat Guru? No way." So John decided, well, okay, I'm gonna investigate, and I'm gonna start going along to my local nearby Hare Krishna place, just for the purpose of proving this wrong, that